Have you ever experienced a moment in your life where you desperately wanted to speak? Your mind knew exactly what to say, but your throat felt completely glued shut, like the bridge between your brain and your voice was suddenly washed away? Welcome to Unmuted. I'm Evelyn Liu, and I'll be your host today for this podcast. I'm a high school student interested in neuroscience, and for many years I lived in total silence. I had selective mutism. For years, many people thought I was just shy, stubborn, or rude. But inside, my brain was fighting a battle it didn't know how to win. In this podcast, we are going to explore the intersection of lived experience and hard science. We will look at the brain, the voice, and mental health to understand why we stay silent and how we learn to speak up. To understand selective mutism, we have to look past the vocal cords and look directly into the brain, specifically at a tiny almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's smoke detector. In a typical brain, it goes off when there's actual danger, like a fire. But in a brain experiencing selective mutism or severe social anxiety, that smoke detector is hypersensitive. It misinterprets a simple social interaction, like a teacher calling on your name or someone asking for directions, as a life or death situation. When that happens, the brain triggers a survival mechanism. You've probably heard of fight or flight, but there's a third option: freeze. Selective mutism is a biological freeze response. Your sympathetic nervous system is a network of nerves that helps your body activate its fight or flight response. And this floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your vocal cords literally paralyze because your brain thinks staying silent is the safest way to survive the room. During my studies in neuroscience, discovering this layout of the brain changed everything for me. I finally realized that it meant I wasn't broken, and that my brain was just trying very hard to protect me. I remember in elementary school where teachers would ask me to just simply choose the color of paper that I wanted, and I would just not respond. I remember in elementary school when I was constantly pulled out of class during an eye block free time, and during this time a speech therapist and psychologist worked with me to verbalize my needs as I sat there coloring or playing with slime. I often went to these sessions alone, but sometimes I brought friends along. And it took years of small steps, patient mentors, and deep internal work to build a bridge across the silence. Finding my voice definitely didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen because somebody just told me to speak up. It happened because I began to understand my anxiety instead of trying to fight against it. Many years later, I'm able to overcome much of my selective mutism by constantly participating in a speech and debate club. And this year, in my high school career, I even had the chance to speak on a national stage. After all these years and speeches on stage, I began fascinated with how the mechanisms of my brain worked. And because of this, I've participated in our region's Brain Bee, where I read various neuroscience textbooks and managed to place second out of 50 plus participants. In addition, I further my interest in neuroscience by interning at neuroscience labs at my local hospital. And because of my journey, I have chose to launch the Unmuted podcast and make it a core part of my mental health, advocacy, and neuroscience passion. As the president and founder of our school's National Alliance on Mental Illness Club, I've seen so many people fighting silent battles with anxiety or pressure. And I hope that by dedicating my time to sharing facts with people online I hope to build a lasting community and break down the stigma surrounding anxiety. Because this is a podcast about taking action and promoting advocacy and understanding, I want to leave you with one neurological tool. Today's tool is about overriding that hyperactive amygdala using something called physiological sighs. 2 quick inhales through the nose, followed by 1 long exhale through the mouth. Neuroscience shows that this immediately pops open the tiny air sacs in your lungs, traps carbon dioxide, and signals your autonomic nervous system to slow down your heart rate. It tells your brain that you are safe, you can breathe, and eventually you can speak. Thank you for listening to the very first episode of Unmuted. See you next week.